Assalamu alaikum in this holy month of Ramadan. Sitaram, good evening, my brothers and sisters of the Congress of the People. It is once again a joyous time for me as a leader of this great party to share a platform with these true patriots of our nation. To hear the scintillating Lincoln Douglas, of course. To hear Naj Singh speak from a man who has worked in the trenches under the experience of a committed servant of the people. To hear the wise words of our own Dr. Mahabir. To hear Alison speak as a mother. To hear her speak as one of your own who worked with this party from its formation. To hear, indeed, our chairman, I told her, take my time, go, Garland, go. Because it is important for us in this very difficult period to not fall for the difficult questions that are put before us. And I congratulate our very democratic Kurt Sinet for his point of view. And I ask him, bring the motion and the party will decide whether we shall stay or we shall go. But I'm the political leader of this party, and this party has made a decision. When we signed the Faizabad Declaration, when we signed on for this new thing, coalition politics, I was not then the leader. But I was committed to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and I knew that this country needed something different. Not the old way of everybody fighting with each other. And that the old system succeeds and the people continue to fail. It needed something new called coalition politics. It needed a coalition government. And that is what we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe we did not take sufficient time to explain the difficulties of coalition government. Because as we transition from the old political era of maximum leadership and one-party system, because there really is no two-party system. When you win, it is the party that is in power that matters and nobody else has a say. Nobody else really count. But the COP came and we have changed that in Trinidad and Tobago. When I became leader of this great party, the grumblings had already begun because many in our party felt that we were unfairly treated, and that may be so. But we transition, and as Lincoln reminded us, growth brings change. And all change requires a movement of mind, heart, and soul. Many of us in the society are not willing to do that. But it is up to us to enforce that change, to continue it because it has already started. And for all those who simply say to walk and let this change fall back to the old, I say think again. I will not allow that to happen, nor will a true member of the Congress of the People allow us to and to give up all that we worked for all these years. It is irresponsible and it is reckless. Let me say how painful it was to have heard one of the candidates speak about the COP's finances, and Caroline, I congratulate you for taking on that fight. For sure. This party cannot be bought. It will not be bought. We will not allow it to be bought by anyone. But I tell you something, you could sell yourself very easily if you fall for foolishness. And I know that every true member of the Congress is not foolish. We may sometimes have weakness, we may sometimes not fully understand, and it is our duty in leadership to explain, and that is why we have these meetings, to explain. When one man says, explain where you get your money, and people start to feel, wait now, the COP corrupt? He call a name and say, oh, they get money from him. And you buy that? Well then, Chief, you could buy anything. And that is why it is important, as we are reminded by Caroline, let us go to the truth. Listen, for all those who talk about leaving, why don't you start mobilizing? Why don't you try to understand the great challenges that we face and take it on like real men and women and explain to all those who tell you that the COP has gone too far to tell them the COP will go far. We are not to be like fools. Like dog, you know the old story, walking over a bridge and seeing its reflection and the bone it had in its mouth and thinking there is something better. open your mouth and jump out. You lost your bone. You look like a fool. The COP under my leadership, I want to assure you, is not like that. We take a long-term view because we are reminded every single day that we are not in this for ourselves. We are in it for the future. We are preparing the future as we proceed today. It is not easy. It is easy for those who like the lazy life, who are not committed other than in their words and in the shape that they wear. But if you are committed in your heart and in your soul and in your being, like Trevor Bridge-Lansing, he is here. I see so many in this audience, I do not want to start calling names because this is the core. This is the heart and soul of the Congress of the People, people who were here before the party was formed. When I say they were here in their spirit, Bo Tiwari reminded me that this party is a yearning party. It yearns for something far better than what we have. It represents the ambition of every parent so that the generation that went before us builds for the generation that is yet to come. That is why I have no fear. I have no fear whatsoever about the future of this party. This party is here to stay, and anybody who tell you otherwise, let me not be distracted by my own talk. Let me return to something very crucial. Mr. Eniashan called his name. The leader of the newest party on the block, the flavor of the month, the color of the day, has thrown out an allegation towards the COP. But we are able to withstand it because I always say, truth shall set you free. And I congratulate Sharon Ramnarine for having the fortitude to have gone out there and tried to raise funds for this party. Every month, those at this head table, the little salary you collect, some of it comes to your party. I remember, Chandra, where are you? When we had what we were selling corn soup. You remember that, Chandra? I saw you in the crowd somewhere. Yeah, there you are, Chandra. Right? We sell corn soup. We have all sorts of little activities. Small Trinidadians and Tobagonians, not multimillionaires, continue to contribute to this party because they know it is an investment into their future. We wish we had large contributors. We really do. Because as Obama has said, I will take your money, but you can't tell me what to do. So please, anybody who have big contributions, come, bring it to us. We need it, right? We cannot turn a blind eye to the requirements for financing in political parties, and that is why we say we want it structured so that nobody could buy a political party, nobody could contribute and then call the shots. What contracts any of our ministers here in the COP have to be able to give as an inducement for us to get money? But members of our own executive fall in for the foolishness. But I want to tell you something. This is the time when we must clear our eyes, our minds, and our spirit from false allegation, rumors, and bad talk. This party is not about that. Every day they want to walk. They want to move the leader. They want to this, they want to that. Well, let me tell you all something. If you remove the COP, because you're going to fail on that, I want to tell you this. What do you remain with? What do you remain with if you damage this organization? Ask yourself that. And if you damage this organization, what gain is it to you and to future generations? Where do we go as a people? When I saw with disgrace and a sense of anger, because I stay home Friday night to see this big bombshell are going to drop, because I say, you know what? We have supported a candidate in Chaguanas West, and I hear a big bombshell going to drop. So I say, Lord, I go into my bomb shelter, call home, and I lie down on my bed and I say, God, please, let me hear this thing. As the candidate who the bomb was dropped on has described, that bombshell is really an eggshell. Right? An egg has spilled onto the face of that man who, in the worst possible way, what really is the worst of things in politics in Trinidad and Tobago. The cheapest of the thing, let me explain what I'm talking about. A photograph was put with a birthday cake and some $100 bills, and if you know about money, small money, you could know because some of us work for that in a month. $3,000. It was less than $3,000 on that table. But the allegation was that it's a kickback from a contractor. Where is the connection between that statement and the money on the table? Why would a person or persons involved in criminality put that money on the table and have a third person photographing the thing?
Lies.
You've heard the explanation is a susu. And that's a normal thing in the country. But they have put the worst interpretation on an innocent act. And that, my friends, represent the worst of politics in this nation. It got worse. Khadija Amin, a young woman, right? A young woman, they have 13 more photographs, and spoke about indiscretions of youth. People get in the head all sort of orgy and all kind of nastiness in these photographs. But really, that is the gameplay, to insinuate and to create an image of wrongness when nothing may have gone wrong. This is why we in the Congress of the People are in Chaguanas West. I am not saying that other participants in the game are without blame. What I am saying is that we are sure as to who this country cannot afford to have in political power. We cannot afford to have it. From day one, as we are sure as to who we are. For those who have doubt, check yourself. I know who the Congress of the People is. You know who the Congress of the People is. We stand for the best of things, my friend, please. We stand for a better society. We stand for the improvement of the quality of life in this nation. Where we are in the politics is better than where we were a few years ago. Where we are in the politics gives us the position of where we want to be in the future. People could make allegations against us. They could call us names. But I learned a long, long time ago that sticks and stones will break my bones. But words can do me nothing unless you take it to your heart. Unless you are doubting who you truly are. And we in the Congress of the People, the true supporters of the Congress of the People, know who we are and will not be deterred by the words of others. My friends, the battle has been set. The COP will take its place, as we are required to do by agreement, by arrangement, because we are honorable people. We honor our agreement, we honor our decisions, and we go forward. Let me say that there are those amongst us who believe, as Carolyn has said, yesterday was yesterday, today is today, and tomorrow is tomorrow. There must be consistency in leadership in this country. There must be consistency in what we say and in what we do. My friends, you know, it sometimes is very important to reflect on the challenges we have had in the past. And forgive me for repeating, because I have heard that if you repeat a lie long enough and often enough, it starts to be believed. So I think it is up to this party to repeat the truth often enough and long enough for those who do not yet wish to understand to start to understand. When this party was born, it was born out of a need to change racial politics in the country. When this party was born, it was born against the odds, because it had never happened for a third party to be created within a year. But because Mr. Dukran, as our founding father, represented honor, truth, integrity, the population rose and supported him in his new venture. And in 1 year, we got 148,000 votes. That was not enough to have taken us anywhere into politics, in the politics of the day, in terms of the ability to influence change. So when the opportunity came in 2010, were we foolish enough to repeat the same errors of the past when an opportunity came, where there was a sort of change in the politics? When Kamla Persad Bissessa became leader, there was great hope and optimism, and we figured, look, we could work with this new personality and create a new organization to take us into power. And we did. We worked together, and the People's Partnership was born. And we have been able, from that time, to make change. forgive me for repeating, the Children's Life Fund, that is COP. Laptops for children, that is COP. The Axi Tax campaign that we took throughout this nation, one of the first things we did was to get rid of the demonic P&M property tax, that is COP. Smelter, people are forgetting these things, that is COP. The policies of this government in a large part, Bo will tell you, Carolyn helped write the thing, the manifesto promises, that is COP. Constitutional reform, that is COP. Local government reform, that is COP. Procurement legislation, that is COP. Public administration and public service reform, that is COP. If we did not have political space and political power, we'd be talking and braying like donkeys outside about these things without the ability to influence it. I understand that the legislation for procurement is almost prepared, and we expect to have it in hand by September. This will dramatically change the way we do business. It will be put into the public space so that the old way of people getting contract for kickback, and so we say we may not be able to eradicate it, but we certainly will limit it and make it far more transparent. When we speak of constitutional reform, we continue to complain about the politics of the day. But until you change the system, all you will do with every election after election after election is change the faces, but have the same old system. And that is why the COP is about institutional change. So that when we hear arguments in Chaguanas West about how wonderful the MP is, that he is able to get drain, able to get road, to provide help for the needy, we say that is fabulous. But the country I want to see is one where the institutions of state ensure that these things happen, and it is no personal favor of any member of parliament or representative. Because I want to tell you something, it is very easy if people give you a thing to like them. But anyhow, maybe I shouldn't say what I want to say. I'm the leader of the Congress of the People. I have to be very responsible. When people give you things and they say it doesn't come from government, where it coming from? I have done so many cases as a lawyer in the criminal courts when mothers cry when their sons are charged for murder or when they themselves are killed. And they say he was a good boy. He used to bring things for me. They never ask where it come from. Until it is too late. Nothing in life is free, people. Understand these basic truths. It is haram. It is ungodly. It is improper to accept gifts, the source of which you do not know. Because there is a payback. And the payback is your very love and your commitment. But what happens then if it is that you don't know the source of these things? Where is the gain? Where is it coming from? And why do we wish to be a representative of the people to what, fix drain? To give you more road? Or is there something bigger at play that we do not see? And that, my friends, is why we need to clear the air, to remove the smoke, let the dust settle, and not fall for cheap allegations. Many have said the Congress of the People has let down its responsibility because there's so many allegations of corruption, so many. And why are they staying in that government with the allegations of corruption? Let me tell you, you think anybody here in this head table, Bo, anybody here in this crowd, want to be part of corruption? Of course not. But I will not make huge decisions, nor will any one of us participate in making major decisions based on cheap and frivolous allegations. If there is merit in an allegation, then it must be investigated, and we have made that call. The Congress stands for that. And many allegations are being now made in this election campaign. I ask that those who allege should bring material to prove, and if there is merit in it, then there must be investigation There must be investigation by institutions of state to ascertain whether those allegations are true or they are not. Otherwise, just like how the COP, they throw mud and somebody grab it and say that we've been funded. Those kind of things will stick. That is why you can hear about 13 photographs, you don't have a clue what it is, but you have an image that something is wrong. And what happens? In Hinduism, they call it the age of Kali Yuga. When the right thing is seen as wrong and the wrong is seen as right, and evil is praised as if it comes from God. That is the age in which we live. There is one stabilizing factor in this nation, in the politics of today, and it's the Congress of the People that requires truth. We require proof. We require evidence. Because I want to tell you, allegations have been made against me by people who are incredibly close to me on the basis of deductive reasoning. Forgive me, Lorraine, for repeating. Nobody understands how I, as a leader of this party, could give up my profession where I was earning millions of dollars and I pay all my tax, and earn now less than what I used to pay in tax. Give up my independence. I've never worked for a man in my life. I chose a profession for independence. And I was no losing lawyer. In the last 15 years, let me boast a little bit. Two convictions in 15 years, a success rate of over 98%. I gave up all of that. Because I knew it mattered not that I will grow wealthy and successful, and my baby, Ulvi, who is here, will grow into a nation where wrong is seen as right and right is seen as wrong. I wanted to grow up in Trinidad and Tobago. I do not want her to go to any other country to live. Jay and I have planned that we want another baby. I want that baby to be born here and to live here to the end of their day. My baby, my Ovi is celebrating that knowledge. I know you want a baby. Yeah. And that is why I followed Mr. Winston Buchanan, because he represented to me the only thing in politics that was attractive. And up till today, I want to tell you, we have large shoes to fill. That is we, I mean the leadership of the Congress of the People. But we are intent on filling them and getting new shoes too. Because the challenges are improving, the challenges are increasing, and the world is getting far more difficult. Because as we succeed, the forces that resist the change are focused on us every single day. All of the other political parties attack us. All of the commentators rush about on us. You know why? If we succeed, we will take this country into a whole new world that we will never return for those persons who have betrayed the public trust to our political space. My friends, I repeat things to you, things that you already know. But for those who are forgetting, remember, we have a sacred duty to this nation. And as we proceed, I want to tell you this, that our worst enemies are ourselves. Our worst enemies are those who doubt the truth of this party. Our worst enemies come from within, because I tell you something, no external attack can succeed, because none of them have the moral authority to attack this party. Today we fight in relation to Chaguanas West. We do not fight a person. We fight for what they stand for. We fight for the values that they wish to bring into the public space. I want a nation where every child, every man and woman will know that life is wonderful, but it requires work to make it and keep it so. I want a nation where every child, every man and woman will know that the pride you must feel by your work and what you achieve, nobody could give you that? How many here have worked so hard and achieved, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little, but you know you own that and you own that? Nobody give it to you, and that truly belongs to you. But this country is now in danger of losing that sense of worth and of value, that if you're in the right groove, you don't have to study, you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything other than to kiss up and to support falsehood and to suck the lifeblood of a nation as leeches and as parasites without having to work. That is unsustainable. It may happen for a short period of time, but this wealth that this country has had, a gift from God, has been really wasted. It has not been made the best use of in terms of creation of sustainable employment. That children will say, in Trinidad I can grow and be the best I can be and get work and employment that will give me a quality of life that is worth it, so that I could ensure that my children go far more than I have done. If it is we allow this gimme mentality to spread, there are those who are willing to take as much as they can, and when it cannot be afforded, guess who they're coming to take it from? From you, from me, the average citizen. The criminality we see in this nation comes from a sense when the young people looked and saw leaders who were interested in enriching themselves and their friends and family, and criminals who were given major state contracts. And the message was, if you're bad and you could threaten, the state will enrich you to keep you quiet. That has not ended under the partnership, but work is being done to do so. And that is why, my friends, we message more than ever is that if we do not stand here now and say enough is enough, and I say this to all of our partners, all of them, that the COP takes on a battle now in relation to one election, but the COP will do battle with anyone who betrays the public trust. As we move forward, you cannot do battle if you're not on the playing field. And therefore the first, and I've been criticized for saying this, the first priority of any organization is to remain alive. The COP is alive. We may be wounded, but we are not destroyed. No one can destroy us. We are a bright light in this nation. And others who believe and put themselves as lights in the nation, as their lights dim, always shine brighter and brighter. This party cannot be stopped. It is indestructible because no dream can be destroyed unless you allow the dream to be destroyed. I am committed. The leadership of your party is committed. The membership of your party is committed to save this nation. This is a generation, I say, when the history books are written, 100 years from today, it will be marked. There was a party, the name might have been changed in the year 2113. But the history will be marked that it was this party in this generation that saved this country. I have had cause to look inside, to meditate, and I want to tell you this. I have great news for you. I have great news for you. We will succeed. There's no doubt in my mind. I have better news for you. We will succeed in this time. My friends, the hour is late. The work is great. We have a whole future ahead of us. You are now on the foundation of that new future of Trinidad and Tobago. Let us go forward, prepare the future we want. Let us not be victims of the acts and actions of others. Let us take responsibility, because the future you want is in our hands now. The future you dread will come unless we take a stand. My brothers, my sisters, my baby Ulvi, this is for you. This is for all of our children. This is for all future generations. This is a great nation, and I ask you, I want to make it a habit. Everybody rise, please. And say after me, I am committed to my nation. Everything I do is for my beloved Trinidad and Tobago. Every thought, every feeling I have is committed to our children and to our future. God bless. Long live the COP. Long live